Tonight, NTV can authoritatively reveal the 3 witnesses who will testify against Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in Parliament next week. NTV can also reveal the lawyers who will defend Gachagua, who for the past 5 days now have not been seen in public and are believed to be holed up with the lawyers at his current residence preparing his defense. Now, NTV's David Mudhoka tells you of the 3 witnesses, the charges against Gachagua and the Deputy President's fight back in the following report.
Last time the country's second-in-command was spotted in public was on Monday night during an interview with reporters from Rift Valley, the backyard of his boss, President William Ruto. The next day, Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuse stood at the floor of the House and tabled an impeachment motion against DP Gachagua, and since then Gachagua, who hitherto had held a series of rallies and media interviews, went under the radar. Amid concerns over his whereabouts, NTV has learned that since Tuesday, Gachagua has held back-to-back highly secretive meetings with the lawyers who will represent him in Senate should the National Assembly make good its threat to send Gachagua home by impeaching him and forwarding his ouster motion to Senate Speaker Amason Kingi. Among lawyers spotted in Gachagua's current residence is lawyer Paul Muite and lawyer Fred Ngatia, with NTV told that Gachagua will be represented by a battery of 8 lawyers who will be led by Paul Muite. The lawyers have been going through all 11 charges that Gachagua has been charged with and guiding Gachagua on how he will defend himself, especially against charges that will be leveled against him by 3 key witnesses, among them someone who sits across Gachagua in the topmost decision-making table in the country, the cabinet. The first witness who will testify against Gachagua is former KEMSA Acting Chief Executive Officer Dr. Andrew Mulwa, who in his sworn affidavit to the National Assembly has accused Gachagua and his last-born son Keith Rigathi of interference in the issuance of a 3.7 billion shilling mosquito net tender to ensure that the tender goes to Shobika Impex Private Limited. The second witness with a bone to pick with Gachagua is Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, who in his affidavit has fingered Gachagua for opposing the relocation of traders from Nairobi's Wakulima Market to Kangundo Road Market, which is a decision of the county government and not of the office of the DP, and thus a violation of the principle of the separation of powers. The third witness is Secretary to the Cabinet Mercy Wanjau, who in her affidavit has accused Gachagua of opposing the evacuation of Nairobi residents living within 30 meters of the Nairobi River, yet the cabinet in which Gachagua sits had approved the evacuation. While Gachagua has been at his residence preparing his constitutional fight back for the better part of this week, his wife Dorcas Rigathi and son Keith have been at the corridors of the Milimani Law Courts. Dorcas and Keith Rigathi want the court to exclude Morani Manufacturers Limited, which they own, alongside Joshua Waiganjo, from the list of 16 companies that Gachagua allegedly used to amass to himself 5.2 billion shillings in the past 2 years through corruption and money laundering, as mentioned in Gachagua's impeachment motion. The third director of Morani Manufacturers, Joshua Waiganjo, is the same man who was arrested for impersonating the Assistant Commissioner of Police for 5 consecutive years, but acquitted in March this year after complainants failed to testify in court.
Since June 2022, that company has never dealt with any business dealing. It has never done any transaction for the period or the duration of time. Dorcas, Wanjiko, Gachagua, and the son have been a member or directors of this company.
It manufactures pig feed. And the most that is transacted in that company is 132,000 thereabouts.
That account has only 2,232 shillings and 20 cents.
The three lawyers for Dorcas and Keith have revealed that they will also return to court next week to ask the court to compel Kibwezi West MP Mwengi Mutuse to remove their two clients, Gachagua's wife and her son Keith, from Gachagua's impeachment motion.
The wife of the deputy president is not elected. She was seduced and was married by Rigathi. She's not in this matter.
David Muthoka, NTV.